Yo, what is happening, good people? Welcome back to another live show of Millennials versus the World, man. I got Princess Brittany, Lewis, my bro DJ J Dub, man. We back in the building, man. First, I'm gonna start before we get into it. I know the chat was going kind of crazy up here recently. How's everybody doing tonight? We're gonna start different. How's everybody doing? How's they March? You know what I'm saying? We about to end the first quarter of the year. How's everybody doing? Anybody gonna talk back to?
I'm making it.
Everybody,
I think we just told you. I think we told you how it's going so far.
Everybody feel like that? Okay.
Yeah,
like
getting boxed out.
It's all good, bro. I'm not talking to you no more, Jay. Anyway, so today, people that don't know, I wasn't able to share it and show it on screen, but there is a video, and like disclaimer, I feel like the video has some like trying to go viral vibes. I'm not even gonna get on that. But like there was a video of this guy who has seven kids by seven different women, and he goes in the car and explains like his accountability is saying, yes, I did it, but I told you I didn't want kids, so I don't care. Jay agreed with this, and everybody else in our chat said that we don't.
Get the fuck out of there.
we having seven different kids by seven different women was okay in his context of life. So
right.
I'll start with my opinion and I figure this is gonna go left pretty quick, but I'm gonna start there. So this is my thing. It's irresponsible just to have seven kids by seven different women, right? But I was having this discussion today that even was a thing tad bit further. He's going to get somebody else after putting himself on the internet like that. He's going to potentially have number 8 by number 8. And I think where dude was coming from is saying like Princess had said earlier, like you have somebody that says like they don't want kids. So it's not his fault. But me personally, I feel like, bro, there come a point where you're a certain age where like you'll have to assume that most people have had sex by this age. Like as a human grown adult, like it can't control your life to the point where you out here spraying and praying and it land whatever, and you don't feel like you could just have kids and it doesn't matter who they affect, it doesn't matter what they do. And dude was just saying he don't give a fuck. And my personal issue is like he's still gonna go to the club this weekend and grab another one, and it's gonna be okay even if they saw that video. I'm gonna step back and open up the floor to y'all opinion on what he said, how he was saying, and what's going down with that.
Well, I mean, to me, that is very irresponsible. And at the same time, it's nasty as hell. And at the same time,
which part of it?
Clapping 7 different chicks raw like that. That's OD. That's insane.
How many is okay?
But 7 is a bit much. Like that's a bit much. Like you
and
really
what time span?
No, I'm just
hey.
No, in all actuality though, like for real, like if you're not really rocking with those people like that, you shouldn't be going raw anyway. Like it has to be some type of level of consistency for a long period of time before you like, all right, I'm comfortable enough to even allow this. For you to sit there and have those 7 women and you saying you don't want the kids, then do something about it. Like, yes, I understand you're telling them that, but what are you doing to protect yourself? What are you doing in this situation to prevent this from happening? You saying I'm getting them plan Bs. I'm doing this. I'm offering abortion money. But you're coming in there recklessly knowing that you don't want kids and you're still like, I just don't understand why you're doing that. It just seems reckless to me.
But is he having this conversation with the women? Because first of all, it's only 7 that got pregnant. It could be thousands of women that he's right. Because only 7 of
only 7.
That's true.
Only 7 of them had the kids. Because I don't know how many abortions he done paid for or how whatever he did. So the real question is, only if he's having these conversations with these women ahead of time. If I'm telling you, like, this is what's about to go down, I don't want this, I don't want that, that's on the woman. I'm sorry, but that's on the woman to make that decision, because homeboy is coming, he's laying it out, he's telling you, then that is up to you to then make that decision. The man had already told you, you already know about his past. That's your dumb self that laid down with him and became number 555. It's not on him anymore. I mean, in my opinion.
So this is my thing. I'm not saying
not 555.
I'm not saying that he didn't say, I hate to be this guy. I'm not saying that he didn't say he didn't want kids. But do you really think he said that in the context of like, okay, you say that on date number 1, right? and you go. So I don't believe this. We had this discussion before. I don't believe that like a dude is just out here saying whatever to a chick face. She's like, oh, okay, I don't care, go. Like there's some finesse to that. He's not just saying this straight up and somebody's like, oh, okay, I'll take that. That's cool. So like okay, go ahead, Princess. I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't think there's a conversation beforehand. No. Like for this type of dude, like this is not first of all, it's probably not even a date. Let's start there. There probably were no dates involved. Okay. This is just smashing. Okay. So there's not a conversation. This is a situation where this is happening on the back end. Like, okay, she come to him, I'm pregnant. Now what? And he like, I don't want it. That's the way that I envisioned this situation coming about. And then at that time, he's offering for the paying for the abortion and all those types of stuff. So it's like, okay, now the ball is in the woman's court. Mm-hmm. That's how I think the situation is actually playing out. But the flip side of that is, like you said, to your point, we were talking about it earlier, like this is like number 7 at this point. Like, so even if the conversation was not in the beginning, baby mama number 4, or you know what I mean? Like she should already know what type of dude she's dealing with. So she shouldn't even start it if she don't know what time it is.
So because you definitely asking like, hey, how many kids do you have? How many baby mamas, baby fathers you have? So at this point,
he's ignorant as hell. You could tell off. I'm sorry, but you could tell off Rick what type of dude you're dealing with. It'd take 5 sentences for that man to open his mouth. Somebody like that, you can tell.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think women care about that. Not no more. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about how he looked, what he can offer in his how much money he got in his pockets, and it seems like the buck stops there. There's no world. We talked about this. We talked about this on a previous episode, right? Like, in my opinion, there's no world. Just say she got like okay standards, like just decent standards, right? There's no world where I feel like drunk, whatever she wanted, you wanted, whatever, you could just go and say these things outlandishly and that just be that, and you still get like, and she like with it. Like, yeah, oh no, come on, man, come get knocked off. Like, I just don't believe that's really like how that goes. And everybody gets in this world of like, oh, hot girl summer, I do what I want. If I want it, he wanted da. But like, I don't think any woman with like even standards of level 4 is just let anybody come say anything and she walking out with him. Like, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. Call me naive. I don't believe that. I don't think that's out here. I don't.
Naive. Go ahead, Lewis.
No, Jay. I said have some type of standards. I ain't talking about ones that's just
but I mean I get that, but I'm gonna be real. It's some out here that's like that, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
For men and women, bro. You got some men that'll tell a woman like, "Yeah, I ain't looking for no relation. I ain't looking for none of this. Like, I'm talking to this, and the woman that sit there say, "Well, he was honest and he gave me the option to make that choice." Mm-hmm. Like, this is what we're talking about. That woman like, bro, what?
Yeah, she got standards, but and please do not take it in the direction of the double standard thing, because I'm not. I mean, that's what it is. She
said, please don't
do that.
I
really quick.
I personally think even with that, there has to be some type. I think I agree with Jay's example, right? But there has to be some type of attraction. Physically, like you, that's just not happening
when
from
you
the
first
jump.
Meet somebody is physical attraction. That's all you have.
That's not.
You don't know anything other than you're not walking up to you like, oh my God, I can't believe your personality just drew me over here like that. Like the first thing you see is attraction, then you work towards other things. But you first look at somebody and you see if they're attractive or not.
I don't believe that's how all people meet though, by approaching. Like you could be in an environment where it's mutual people, and you may be around somebody and it's a vibe session. And you first catch a whiff of how they are. Like all settings aren't like club settings. Like it could be a more intimate setting where you're catching more of the personality in, or you've been around this person. They not really caught your eye too many times, but you've been around them or in the same mutual space, and you start to like their energy, whatever the case may be. But even
you do like their energy, but you're gonna look at their looks first.
Right.
It's not always true.
I'm gonna always see you first.
You gotta see somebody first, bro. You have to.
I'm gonna see you. Yeah, like you
agree. But Princess, you've never seen a guy that he's cool, and then like you see him multiple times over, and his personality makes him look better than he did the first time you seen him. That don't happen.
Yeah, that does.
So all I'm saying is,
initial, what we was going off was the initial thing. Though, when you first meet somebody, you only have attraction.
Yeah,
correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's, y'all, when you first meet
see a girl, the first thing you don't think. I mean, this men and women. The first thing they look at is either he got a nice body, or he looks good, he looks well groomed, he smells not like you're gonna think of those. So you're not. I'm telling you,
he got them Dior glasses on.
You know, hey, you know what I'm saying? You got them glasses on, you feel me? Hey, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be in that choosy, you know what I'm talking about? They're gonna be choosy, you feel me? But I'm just saying though, like you're not thinking about like, oh man, they just seem like such a great caregiver. Like nobody's thinking that deep into stuff like that. Like,
yeah, but let me rephrase. I'm not thinking that deep into it too. But what I'm saying is, like, Jay, even when that happens, you do if you approach, let's say a guy approaches, let me change something. Say a guy approaches, right?
Okay.
And she is let's not say on the fence. She's like, okay, cute. I'm gonna see what he's talking about, right? There has to be some type of interaction or game given right there for the conversation even to go to what we talking about. Nobody's
what makes that guy approach?
Exactly, but what Jay is saying is the female is probably not even going to entertain him if he is not appropriate or up to her standard. If he's not attractive enough. So that's the end. That's the end, and to build that rapport. In most
what
instances.
I'm saying is before rapport is built, is you saying that reckless shit?
No, we talking about physical attraction. We were talking about the reason why some of those women may say those things like, hey, after they being honest, and then it's like, oh, well, he's giving me a choice. That's only solely based off physical attraction. That's it. It's what they're thinking in their mind. Their imagination is wandering. So it's like, yeah, they're not thinking, okay, they see some red flags, but it's more of the attraction that's taking them to that next level. To say, I'm willing to accept certain things just to see what this is about. In my opinion.
I get what you're saying. I just don't agree. Like,
I agree. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying I don't. I think the attraction thing I get, Jay, and I wholeheartedly agree with that part. But
okay,
a dude being attractive, like maybe I'm gonna just take my L, bro, because I don't think that's happening. Like I don't think just off a look you could say like, oh yeah, I don't want no kid. You coming to her, hey, how you doing? I don't want no kids. I don't da 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 blah blah. Okay, come on, cool, let's go.
That still happens. That's if you got it like that, it happens.
Okay. Yeah. Respect. I'm
just being honest.
Does that chick have standards though?
Don't matter at the time. It could be where it depends on where she is in
I think she got standards. Yeah.
It depends on where she is in that moment. She could just want that. That's just what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I leave it alone. Any more thoughts on the seven because bro, I just
that boy getting
because I don't even want to debate. I don't even want to go keep debating, bro. But I just, you know what I'm saying, ladies, what's y'all opinion on that?
You ain't even ask. Hey, yeah, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, Asia girl.
What's up, Asia? How you living? How you living? My bad. I was running my mouth. What's your opinion on that, Asia?
I don't have a clear one because if the argument is the woman. I mean, well, what's the argument here? Because Kenan, from what I'm hearing, you're like, well, it has to be more than like a physical attraction for somebody to basically just like, for a dude to be able to walk in and be like, all right, this is who I am, like, let's rock with it.
So what I was saying in a nutshell was like, I do believe things. So I preface this conversation by saying women that have some type of standard, not just out here, I can buy you a drink and I know you coming with me type. No, I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. Like what I'm saying is like, I don't believe that a guy is leading with this information. I'm believing he's getting in where he fits in a little bit and then goes on to that information. But Jay was saying like, and Lewis was saying like, nah, if she's attracted to him and it's the right time, right place, you can lead with that and that be what it is. And then boom, boom. But my thing is, I do believe that happens. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it. Like I take it, and I'm not even comparing women to you all, but like, if she got some standards, that's all I'm saying. Like some type of like, I don't think he can lead with that and it come off. Now, do I think it happens? Yes, a woman with standards. I don't think it happened that easy. I think you can still get her. It ain't gonna be, but you ain't gonna lead with that. Does that make sense, Asia?
Kenan, can you explain what exactly you feel like the conversation is like that he's leading with? If that makes
this like Herb 99 talk.
I'm not being funny, Jay.
Yeah, just really like here go these examples, right? Marcus Sell, what up?
No, I want to hear it too. That's why it was a great question. I want to hear it too.
So it was a good question.
Okay, so
Hey, Sneak, how you walking up on them? What are you talking like?
I don't know none of that. All right. So what I'm saying is like, say if you are I'm not even y'all, say a chick with some standards, right, is approached, and say this the setting is a lounge club, whatever the case may be. You exchange words, you speak a little bit, you may buy a drink, then I'm gonna catch you later, you may fill it out and then come back to it. The only point I'm making, Princess, is like, you may make it a thing to vibe with this person all night before it gets there. Like, you may make it a thing. Y'all might get a couple dances in. You may have some fun, sweat together on the dance floor. Hey, come walk with me to the bar real quick. Y'all have whatever said conversation before those things come out, and it may still happen. But I don't think dudes are just with a woman with any standard just coming straight to that. Hey, let me buy you a drink. Yeah, look. I'm here, bye, and this was happening. I think if she got any type of standards, you're gonna have to work a little harder than that. You know what I'm saying? You may take her to dance for a dance with a little bit, let's see what's going on. You see what I'm saying? then take it in and have that conversation. No, do you understand what I'm saying, Princess?
Yeah, I just don't think that type of conversation is happening in that moment.
Yeah, it's too
like it's too, because if I'm seeing somebody in the club, in the lounge or whatever, and you starting to talk to me about that, that's gonna turn me off completely. Because we at the club, we just talking about kids, bro. Like, what? Like, no.
Y'all just said told Jay that's what be happening.
No, we're not saying that doesn't happen, but
yeah,
like,
backtrack, King. Go ahead.
No, I'm not backtracking. What I said is what I said. No, I'm just no. But look, in all actuality, that can happen in those situations. Is that gonna happen in most scenarios? Probably not. What I'm trying to say to you is that there are people out there that this happens to.
Yeah,
a guy comes up and leads with that information, and it's okay. But in most instances, like you said, if you're in a club, why would you lead with that anyway? That shouldn't get you anywhere. I mean, but if it does, what it was,
Marcus Sales said there's no right answer to women. They literally change standards depending on the guy in question.
Oh, don't do that.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, though, I think that's partially
that's legit though.
That's good.
Oh, y'all got real quiet.
I think that us as women, I think we make exceptions. If, like, for instance, even in that scenario that you're saying, Keenan, like, if the woman had already seen the dude and had already created in her mind what she was or was not going to do with the dude, then the speed of how that conversation can happen, it really depends. If I was already seeing dude before he came up to me, if I was already creating like, ooh, he look real good, this is the type of time I'm right now. He might not have to work as hard as a dude that I find not as attractive. He might be cool. I might have been able to see him from time to time, but he's just a vibey dude. Then at that point, yeah, you got to work a little bit to prove to me that you can change the scenario that I've already created in my head. That you're more than just a dude with good vibes.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that honesty. I really do. I never heard a woman own it that much. So
yeah, but I agree, right, Asia?
I
agree.
There we go. Yeah,
it's about to get real. It's getting real.
No, but I agree with Asia wholeheartedly. But I do feel like, let me word this right. I do feel like that doesn't mean that I change my standards, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not switching my standards because of what's approaching me, right? Like, yeah, you might need to work a little harder, you might need to work a little less, whatever, but I still have my bar set with whomever, however you look, whatever you look like, whatever your conversation holds. I already know what standards I hold for what I want out of a man. And depending on that conversation, I then gauge the situation like, oh, okay, he don't check these boxes, or he does check these boxes. So where am I going to go with this relationship or situationship or whatever is going to come out of this situation? So to Marcus L's point, no, I don't feel like we change our standards based on the man, but I do agree with Asia in terms of how we kind of look at a situation and whether or not they got to play their hand a little bit harder than like a vice versa.
Princess. That was good, bro.
Thank you, Brittany, for your honesty too. That's dope.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah. That's dope.
I'm just thinking of an example where he's saying like women change their standards based off the man. I'm just thinking about men with money and how the standard changes there. You got to think about professional athletes, entertainers. Mm-hmm. You already like have in your mind some things that more than likely what you will and will not deal with because the caliber of man that you're dealing with. And I do feel like the more money that a man has, the more a woman is willing to change her standards based on that man.
Wow. Okay.
So long story short, just about bread.
No.
Keenan, that was an example.
Like Keenan, like right. You go from one
hey, bro, come on, bro. They gonna think we
just...
can't listen. They gonna think we slow. Come on, bro.
Hey, like... look, man. Hey, look. I think Lewis is against me, bro. Every time I say so, he just look down and shake his head, bro. Why? Hey,
because you go with these absolutes, man. That totally shift the conversation, bro. You go with these absolutes that shift the conversation in a whole nother direction.
Oh, my bad, bro. Okay, I got you.
Bro,
hey, all of that good information he heard.
Right. We had three different women say things that we all knew existed, but they were honest about it and vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare to hear that type of transparency when it comes to how you all, think, so I respect it. Like I'm like surprised that you guys would be that honest, but I'm relieved too, because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I see, that's been the experience. Not for me, but the experience that I've seen for men in different dynamics. So that's dope.
So the standard thing to what Brittany said, Princess, I was just trolling you. I'm sorry. To the standard thing that Brittany says. So I'm stuck in the middle of like I'm with Lewis on the part of like. Most things I see is like it is expedited process when certain things are in play, right? Mm-hmm. But I do feel like there's situations like I forgot what day it was in the chat, and we were talking about like the money thing, and you have an idea of what you say you want, but somebody presents something that is what you say you want, but not the way you see it. Does that still challenge the same standard, or is that like when somebody brings something to the table that you were not initially looking for, that you instantly devalue something that you thought you wanted, and then you like what they present? Is that the changing of the standard? Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No.
Okay, so say if you want something from somebody, right? Mm-hmm. Say your list is this. You meet someone. Y'all are really vibing out, and you realize some of the things that this person possessed, you didn't think to be on your list, but you start saying like, I don't want this. Like, oh, I can do without this thing, and I can take this thing because this person showed you that part of themselves. You got me? Mm-hmm. Is that not the standard changing based off who was at the table?
That's a good question. I get what you're saying now.
You mean like, is that compromising, or is that like completely changing their standard? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I think. It's more of a.
No. I'm asking.
No, I'm asking for clarity on that question.
I think that matters. I think that matters in the context of like when you meet people and you got a checklist and somebody presents something that you just didn't see coming. That's not bad. You're willing to essentially change your checklist to the thing that they showed you that they'll do. So is that not still changing the standard in context of like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but can standards still get challenged that way and it be okay? Because we're also talking about the man in question. So whoever's at the table, if he brings that and allows you to see something else, is that the same ordeal?
That's a positive vibe. I think that's the person that you ultimately want to be with, right? The person that kind of challenges you in areas that you didn't know, or exposes you to things that you thought maybe your standard in your brain was a little bit lower. Maybe you didn't really know your worth or value yourself as much as you should. And he came along or she came along and showed you something totally different, right? Yeah, of course, I agree. That is changing the standard, because now I'm gonna raise it a little higher. So if homeboy don't work out, I already know that he showed me something that I like, right? And he thought I was worth something that I didn't see. So the next dude that comes along, like, yeah, okay, that's how you build standards. That's how you set the bar for yourself. If people don't expose you to different things, you won't know what you like or can or cannot tolerate. So I just feel like, yeah, that's a positive to answer your question, yes, but it is a positive spin on things, on how you set the bar for yourself moving forward in the next relationship, if there is one.
Okay. Asia, Princess, you were. Okay, so this is a question that this is going to be a little, y'all don't know this question, so it's going to be. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we got, typically my conversations go into debates when people say wild things, but I really want to ask you ladies this. And we were talking one time, and somebody that I know was saying they were at a happy hour enjoying themselves, and a guy, approach. I don't even like to use the word approach. I'm gonna just say they started talking, woo. Drinks were flowing. They were purchasing, he was purchasing drinks, woo. And by the time happy hour ends, his conversation had kind of shifted to like, hey, what are we going to do? And she was like, nothing. Like, this was just a conversation. So the 2-part question I have is, this first one going to sound bad, but try to hear it outside of that. Is there a way, a way a woman represents herself, that means vibe, dressing, everything, set the tone for the way she can be approached? And secondly, does being okay with consenting to someone, a man or whatever you like, buying you drinks, buying you stuff, does that mean you in turn owe him your time and conversation while this is happening? I'm just asking, because what I got was, I don't care, you just bought me a drink, it was whatever, like I'm out of here. But I also think on the real world, that could kind of send mixed signals if you're indulging in this conversation, indulging in these drinks, and then when it's time for the end, it ends. So that's the 2-part question. Does the way a woman represent herself, energy, dress, and all that, set the standard or the expectation of how she can be approached? And does you being cool with me, blowing some bread on you, open up the line for you to in turn give me your time? Not necessarily outside of that, but for that time being while we're there.
All of us just looking at the screen. Like,
right. I thought you muted everybody. I'm like, yo, what's going on?
They know they done wasted somebody's money. That's what it is.
And they was like, all right, my guy, appreciate that, my boy.
They all know they wasted somebody's money.
Does my question make sense?
Yeah.
It makes
sense. Okay. Oh, we got time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think of how to. You want to go?
No, go ahead.
I don't know how to properly word my response, but I feel like it shouldn't matter.
Which one? The way she represents or
the way she presents herself, the way she dresses or whatever. But in today's society, like it does, like if somebody's, dressed provocatively, then most times they're going to be approached like in a negative or aggressive or whatever manner. But that doesn't mean that just because I'm dressed that way, that's what I deserve, or that's the type of attention. Louis, don't roll your eyes. That's the type of attention that I want. Because sometimes, I go out and, I might have my legs out, my chest out, like whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the type of vibe that I'm looking for. That's just how I prefer to dress.
What does that do for you?
What does it do for me?
Mm-hmm.
When I dress like that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, what does that do for you?
I think I look good. I look sexy. But that's for me. It's not for y'all.
You can just look sexy at home.
I could, but who said I had to stay in the house?
But hold on. We hitting on really caught what I was about to say.
All right, talk back to the 1950s, Louis.
When you go outside, when you go outside, right? Because you said you want to look good for yourself. You can look good for yourself in your own home. Mm-hmm. When you go outside, you are intentionally showing off. Let's just be honest. That's just what it is. So when you give off that type of vibe, and then that energy comes back to you, hey, I'm going to look sexy. Well, everyone else is going to think you look sexy too. And sexy has these 3 other words, the 3 other letters in it that implicate something else that's going to drive the conversations that you have. So I think it's unfair somewhat, but I mean, and I think it's certain, I think a certain level of ignorance and how people approach it. But I think it's unfair to say, well, I just look like this for me. Well, you could have stayed at home. So you went out wanting that type of attention, in my opinion.
So what is she supposed to wear? Sweatpants?
Yeah.
I mean, like what? Like, if I'm no, but seriously, right? Because I'm thinking, if I go to the store and I see a dress that I like, right? In my mind, when I'm shopping, I'm not thinking like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Like, the dudes are gonna love this one. I'm thinking, I love this dress. Let me rock this dress. So it's like, at what point is it like, should we stop living? Should we stop going out? Should we wear sweatpants everywhere that we go? Should we wear khakis and a hoodie? I mean, at what point? Because it's like, yes, of course, any type of attention. If we're going out, if I go to work and I wear a nice dress or something like that, I'm gonna get a certain level of attention, just based on my shape in general. I don't have to say, you know what I'm saying? It's just based on that. So if people find that attractive, they're gonna be attracted to it. If people don't find it attractive, they're not gonna be attracted to it. That has nothing to do with me. Has everything to do with the way that people see me. But it doesn't mean that when I put that dress on, to Princess's point, I look good. If I'm gonna go out, I want to feel good when I'm out. I don't want to feel frumpy. I want to enjoy myself just like the next person.
Oh, Brittany,
just stay at home like Lewis said.
Yeah.
Y'all go, bro. I'm not a part of that.
I'm on both sides of the fence, right? Because I'm all here for it, but at the same time, I feel like women have to understand. The society in general is sexualizing everything. Like, even with the kids, they're sexualizing stuff. It's disgusting, honestly. But like, I agree, Asia. Like that. Well, that. What can I put on? But the other part of that is, I feel like women have to put in their minds, like, if you wear that, be prepared, right? Because yes, you feel good about yourself and you feel comfortable and you feel good. You put it on for whatever reason you put it on. But men will be men, women will be women, right? Because there's some women that their eyes look too, and you have to be prepared for the attention that you draw. So to answer Keenan's question, yes, it does matter, right? Because now if I'm looking at you and I see chest out, cheeks out, I'm going to approach whatever it is that I see, even though that wasn't my intention for wearing the outfit. I wore it for whatever reason I wore it for. But we have to be prepared to respond to the way in which the person approaches us. And I feel like we have in our minds trained to like be defensive all the time. Like, if a dude does this, and they're not like, aside from touching, like, don't touch me. Don't touch me, right? Yeah, but anything that they say, that they verbalize, we're quick as women to kind of, or I've seen that women kind of lash back out, but it's kind of like, sis, take a step back. He's only looking with his eyes. You know, you hit him back with something smart, or say whatever it is that you need to say without attacking first, because you wore that for you, but he also sees what he sees, and he's just responding to whatever it is that he sees. I mean, I don't know. That's the way that
exactly.
I definitely no. Hold on. I agree with what Britt is saying wholeheartedly. Because to Keenan's point, because I was responding to Lewis, because in my mind, Lewis is basically saying, put on sweatpants and stay in the house, or whatever the case is, right? So I was responding to that, but to Britt, to your point, and to Keenan, what you're saying, I do agree. Like, I don't think that, because your question is, because first of all, once again, I think it does depend, right, on what the woman is wearing. Because like I said before, if the person is attracted to you and whatever you have on, or whatever the case may be, they're going to approach you. And also, if I am wearing this versus that, then it will attract a different, you know what I'm saying? It could attract a different type of person depending on what he's looking for, right? So that part I do think. As far as the buying the drinks go, I personally feel like
Asia, hold on. Don't tap into the drinks yet. Don't tap into the drinks.
Okay.
I don't want tap into the drinks yet. We're gonna have that conversation. Please do not forget that thought. Do not forget that thought, Asia.
I won't. It's right here.
All right. So we got so Marcus Sales said, don't be upset that a man is trying to say what's up to you because you look good. That's just my thing. Women act like men are weird for shooting their shots. And women know what they're doing, bro. I'm not giving benefit of the doubt. They grown as hell.
Wouldn't you exactly?
He can shoot a shot.
So this is my thing that I think gets misconstrued a little bit. And this, again, Earth 97 thought, right? So I don't think it's the clothes alone, because I've been somewhere and a woman could be wearing something, but her energy says like, don't say nothing to me at all. And I don't want to be bothered.
That's stupid.
But listen to what listen to what I'm saying.
Hey, Lewis, what she need to do, Lewis?
Take your ass home.
No. Lewis, so Lewis, what you saying right now, bro? You never been somewhere, and please forgive me, but I'm just going. So you saying you never been somewhere and saw a woman that's attractive and having certain things, and she's like bougie, you're like, yeah, I'm not even dealing with that.
Well, as far as like me not even going to approach her or whatever.
I'm saying like because the representation doesn't stop at clothes, right? So what I'm saying is she has that on. So you've never been somewhere and you've seen somebody wearing that. And yes, she's pretty, but it's like you could tell, like, yeah, I'm not even messing with that guy. I could tell.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have to see her turn someone down, and most often than not, I've seen that happen before I even kind of know what's the vibe is. I've seen someone try to go to her and she's like extra mean. It's like, okay, well, leave that lady alone. You know what I mean?
So you've never just picked up on it before you've seen somebody shut somebody down?
No, you know me, I don't know how to.
But even with the shutdown doesn't matter though, because she could have just shut him down. That don't mean she gonna shut you down.
Right. Yeah, but
I'm still taking that chance.
But Jay, I think this is the thing though.
You gonna have to shoot me.
So back to the point. That's an approach thing. If you do that in front of everybody, you're getting shot regardless, because she can't get got
down.
Yeah. If you
get shot down because you're doing it in front of everybody.
Yep.
Say again.
Say it again.
Why would I get shot down because I'm doing it in front of everybody? If anything, that's going to show my confidence, and it's going to make her say, "Okay."
I mean, I get you trying to sound good while you're up here, but you know that's why they do that.
It's not sounding good. Like
you know that's why
it's not sounding good. This really happened.
Jay, you missing me. I'm not saying you wouldn't do it. I'm not saying it doesn't work sometimes, but like there are. So back to like the conversation we had about how you were saying I was being naive. There are women that you're going to get shot down in front of because other people are watching you approach them. Is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with your confidence. Nothing to do with how you look. Okay. But if you approach in a certain environment in a certain way, you're going to get shut down. Like not because of it actually being you. You know what I'm saying? Because that same person or woman can get caught while she's on the way going to the bar to get a drink, and a whole different energy level is there because all the lights, camera, action is not on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Secondly, there has been women that don't dress like that, but are vibing out, being themselves, doing certain things in the club, having a certain energy, which makes them that approachable too. That they're not showing that much skin, but the things they doing is allowing a guy to think, oh snap. That's like that's like back in the day.
That's true.
That's like the girl twerking in the middle of the floor and you go to dance. You're like, what? Stop. And you're like, well, why are you over there doing all that then?
I've seen that happen, yo.
That is a fact.
Like, I'm just saying. Is it not?
I've seen it with my own eyes. I seen a girl dancing with a guy and her dress came all the way up to her back, and the dude asked for her number and she said no. And I was like, you was just half naked on this dude. Like but to my point is to whoever is out here.
Lewis said, I seen them cheeks. I need them digits, bro.
The dude, we was like, oh, he gonna get her, and she's like, no, she like dissed him hard. And I was like, I couldn't make that make sense. You know what I mean? But my thing is like, why would you do all those things to draw attention to yourself? Because it makes you feel good. Like I'm all about self-empowerment. I get it. I get it. But if there are things that you know that are going to catch people's attention, is going to cause people to draw to you because you're putting that energy out there, right? You're putting that energy out there. Why would you go in a public setting, putting that energy out there physically, and then are upset or menacing in your response because you put yourself there? Like you gotta expect that that's going to be the response you're going to receive as a result of wearing those things. So I just don't. Why even go out that way? Why? I just said I don't understand. Because even me as a man, like when I got that fit on, I know which fit is it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know what's gonna draw certain attention. So I expect that. So I just feel like it's naive. I think it's irresponsible, and I just think it's rude, right? Like I just don't like that. Damn. I don't like that.
But and then there's a fine line too, because I'm sure you guys saw it, but like a lot of the times women, we work hard for our bodies or what we look like, and sometimes it just feels good because we feel good, right? Mm-hmm. And if, no offense to any Sallys out there, but if Sally put on a dress and LaToya put on a dress, the same dress, and it fits different, right? And they walk into the same exact club, she doesn't have to be showing anything. It just fits her different, right? Like a man that likes curvy women or top heavy, whatever it is that he likes, he's going to still try and pursue that because of what he sees. And I don't think it's she wore that to seek attention, right? It's just it just fits a little different or whatever that is. But it's at the same time, to your point, Lou, I hear you because I agree with you to a certain extent. But a lot of times that's what we're looking for. I feel like people that kind of do that, they're looking for that attention. To answer your question, they're looking for that attention, and that's all that they want. That doesn't mean I want your number. That doesn't mean I want to go home with you. That doesn't mean approach me. If I'm out twerking, I was in college, I hated attention, but I love to dance. I was in the middle of that dance floor. That does not mean come touch me. That does not mean come dance with me. That means I'm out here literally liberating myself through dance, because this is something that I like to do. Whether you're looking at me or not, I would do it at home. I would do it in public because I truly, genuinely enjoy this for me, right? So I think that's where the line is it's what's acceptable and what's not. Like knowing when to approach somebody and when not to do so. And that's what kind of shifts whether you want the attention and what you're gonna do with that attention when you get it.
I got one question. Can I ask this one question? So you said Sally puts on a dress and it fits her one way, and then Latoya puts on a dress and it fits her another way. Mm-hmm. You know, all three of you ladies know what you have, and you know what you have and how it makes you look. So on the flip side, have you ever intentionally wore things to decompress or to minimize what's being insinuated in certain environments, trying to ensure that you don't get that attention? Do you guys do that?
I have, but not based on what I'm wearing. I'm more of what Keenan said. I give off a vibe. Like, do not come talk to me. I stay very close to my girls, or I have like this, like, don't approach me. But it's never been based on what I wear. It's always been the vibe that I'm giving off. I'm more, if I'm like trying to like meet a new friend or whatever the case may be, I'm more friendly. I'm more open. And if I'm not, I've then become like the protective friend. So I'm the one that's kind of like checking on my girls, making sure they're good. Hey, you say your hellos and you keep it pushing. But I've never changed what I'm wearing based off of that. For me, it's about, okay, this is how I know I'm about to walk into this space.
Okay. So can I ask a follow-up question to Lewis's question? And we just want to kick it to you, G. So we all pregame before. We've all been with our peoples. We know the conversations that go on when you pregame and doing what you do. Do you all, and say, like Lewis said, we know when we start, you take a shower, you put that fit on and you start fitting, you already know what type vibe you want when you about to step out, right? Do you all ever, the things you say or believe that y'all are saying to each other in the pregame, do you all ever keep that same energy when you actually get out? Or is that all just like hype people energy? Meaning, the thing that we're saying shouldn't happen typically are the conversations amongst women before they go out. But when that said thing happens, it's like, oh, I'm not doing it for men, I'm doing it for myself. Does that make sense? If it don't, I can say it in a way more direct way.
Yeah, go direct, please.
Yeah, go direct.
So I'm just trying not to be I'm just so to me it's like if dudes are pre-gaming, right? We pre-gaming, we having fun, we feeling good, we know how we vibing out. The energy around the room, the things that's being said, you go out there, usually try to say that, right? Do those things. Women put on those outfits and things like, yo, I'm about to fuck it up tonight. Like, we out here. But then in turn, go out there and say, like, they say, like, we about to do this, we about to do this, about to do that. And then you get out there and say, oh, no, I did this for me. But in the pregame session, you were just talking about how you was about to kill everything that come your way. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why is that being said behind closed doors, but you get outside and say, I'm doing this for me?
Well, that's a different type of woman.
What you mean? What you mean? What you mean, Brittany?
That's a different type of, that's a woman with a different type of motive. If you could turn that switch on and off, like you already had the pre-notion in your mind of what you wanted or expected out of the night. Like you could talk all you want in pregame, but when you got out there, you was really out putting yourself out there and you really wore that for somebody else. or to seek attention. That's a whole different. You're not being true to self at that point. I mean, I don't know.
I think that goes back to the question of like changing the standards though too, because I think like, because now I'm thinking like, all right, if like a woman is like, if she's saying with her girls, like, okay, I am gonna do this, or I'm not, or I'm gonna find me a man tonight, or not. If she gets into that space, just being real, and there are no attractive dudes to her standard, if they're not like, if nobody's buying her a drink and she thought that was the dress that was going to get her, you know, drinks bought and all that kind of stuff, she's going to change her mind. Right. But if there's also a room full of men that's buying drinks that she finds attractive, that all this kind of type of stuff, then yes, then she might have said, I'm doing this for me. But then she gets in the room and she's like, oh snap, but that man looks really good. And we started talking and I look good. I mean, why not? So I definitely, I see that there could be a switch up.
All right.
Let's go.
So, hey, I'm gonna let you. Do you remember the good? So I was just asking, and Brittany, somebody said who said that's not her being herself. So, I'm with you. Asia kind of gave me a different perspective. I didn't think about like you can go out on one wave and not see the wave that you thought you were going to see, and it change your energy. So. Respect. But you, Asia, we're gonna go back to you with the drink. Do you remember what you were saying with the drink? And it was right there. So you know what I'm saying?
It was right here. It was.
So does a drink yield a conversation?
I don't think that it always has to, but I also think that as women, we know that it might come with a conversation. Now, it doesn't mean that we always want to have the conversation. It doesn't mean that it needs to go anywhere. But also it's like, okay, I have to be a little more friendly. You know, especially if the goal is to get a drink. Like for instance, I've been out with my girls and some of them will say like, oh, we're not paying for nothing tonight. And that is the goal of that's the goal. Because why? Because there are men that are gonna buy drinks. They know the risk. In my mind, if you're buying a drink, you understand that you may or may not get what you want at the end of this. So for me, it's like you're taking that risk. If you're gonna spend the money, you're taking that risk. I may or may not want to talk to you.
And then the type of my thing is the type of man, like, please forgive me for saying this, but don't try my face. Like you knew what you looked like before you came to a group of girls. No, I'm being
it's true.
serious.
It's true. Talk about it.
Hey, Brittany on fire tonight.
The least I won't say ugly because some people might find them attractive, right? So it might be the least attractive group of males, and they see these like top, next top model type chicks. You know, in real life that you would never even approach these type of women, but you got a little liquid courage to walk over there to, oh, let me buy your drink. At that point in your mind, you should already know, like, they're going to take these drinks and walk away, or they might entertain me for a little bit, or I might have a chance, whatever it is. You can't be mad when the women take your drink and walk away when you know what you look like.
That's harsh.
So Marcus L said, he said, don't take a man's drink if you're not interested. Don't take a man's drink if you're interested in. It's simple maturity at some point.
Princess, go, Princess, go.
What was the last part? It's simply
Princess ready. She
maturity
ready.
at some point.
So let me get this right. If a man and I'm not interested, I'm supposed to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. You can take that drink and have it for yourself. Are you kidding me?
Well, yes.
Yep.
That's called maturity.
I agree with that.
Well, I'm not that mature, and I'm gonna take a drink, and I'm gonna say thank you, and I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Hold on.
But what I'm not gonna do is like be like, oh no, that like no.
Because even if Princess said, you know what, no, thank you. I don't know what y'all think the response would be, but I can say at some point the dude is gonna say, oh, so you just can't take a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's just, I mean, I already bought the drink. Like,
oh, they'll flip it and say that's all.
I get,
men do that.
That happen.
Asia, you know what I'm saying? Women gonna say, "Hey, I wore this dress for me." So I mean, we could both lie.
Sure. No,
I bought the drink for you.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, because now we're talking about drinks, right? So once again, I will say, if you are willing to spend your money on a woman that you may or may not have a chance with, you are taking a risk. Then don't buy the drink. Then lead with conversation. Don't just buy the drink and hoping and wishing. That's also immature.
That's great. That puts the responsibility back on us. Lead with a conversation and then offer to buy a drink. That's actually really good.
That's good.
That's game. Like that's game right there.
Most men feel like they can just buy you a drink and then that's the ticket for a conversation.
Damn,
that's not a ticket for a conversation with me.
Right? It's not.
Free game. That's free game right there.
Just buy the drink. Just buy the drink. You know what I'm saying?
But it's some reading in there too.
Buy the drink and let the conversation come
because
when you don't put the expectations on the drink, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. You sitting up there, you vibing at the bar. Hey, you look very nice. Okay, here you go. I'm taking a shot. Would you like to take a shot with me? Cool. All right, cool. Nice to meet you. I'm taking by the way. And then leave.
Yep, get up out of there. Like, okay, that works. You know what I'm saying? What? That's gonna make her say, wait a minute, what was that Jay guy?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Lewis, I love Lewis, so that works.
It does.
I'm not saying it don't, Jay. Right. First of all, what I'm saying is this. I agree. I just think there's, and this is just my personal opinion, there's situations where both work. We're leading with a conversation and where you send the drink over there and it's like, oh, who did that? But the one where you don't lead with conversation takes a little bit more reading to do that. You don't do that blindly. You know what I'm saying? So my personal opinion.
My question to you is, why is the expectation behind the drink?
I mean, I just think
why does the conversation have to add with, like, if you're going up to the woman for a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're up there having conversation, that's what you're going for. That's cool. The drink to me is just extra. I don't understand why the drink has to warrant a conversation or feeling like that because I bought you a drink, you should feel obligated to hold a conversation. Why?
So in the conversation,
you chose to swipe your card.
Right. I didn't ask for the drink.
So in the conversation,
I don't think the expectation behind it should be making somebody feel bad for taking something you offered.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. So in the context, I actually wasn't even debating. I was just here. So the thing was, I'm talking about when the actual conversation happened. The thing was, I guess the length of time she sat there talking to him gave him the sick. Like, I guess to him it was like she was feeling him. And when she said like, no, we're leaving, a third party, not in the conversation at happy hour, but in the debate, was like, hold on, you don't think that's giving mixed signals to talk to somebody for an hour and a half over drinks? Like, because the other part of that is
So you think he felt used at the end of it? Like he felt used?
Jay, I just think this, bro. I think we jump in and out of like our rights. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like simple and plain, certain things yield certain results. Like if we're talking and we rapping for 30 minutes and drinks are flowing, it'll be hard for somebody not to think something's there. Yep. Anybody.
And it will also be hard if you rapping for 30 minutes to an hour and it doesn't continue. That lets you know that the conversation wasn't as good as you thought it was. Obviously, you got to know, bro. I ain't gonna say you can finesse that long. I'm just saying, as far as like if y'all are feeling each other, like this is the same thing. Like even to go back to the standard situation about all the women's having standards and all that, I agree with that. I do think though, when the attraction is there and the mood is right and everything is going well, that can be expedited. Like you can skip from stage 1 to 10 because the mood is right. So if he's rapping with her for an hour, obviously he's getting to know her. She's getting to know him. So the next level of that conversation, if it was going right, it would go where it needs to go. Or if it doesn't, then obviously the conversation was just not where it needed to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just, I don't know, to answer your, I don't know if he's mad that he kept buying drinks or is he mad that the conversation, that like they didn't continue after the night. Is that what he was mad about?
That's in the scenario. That's what happened. It didn't lead to. It was like he misread it. He got a little too aggressive at the end, but he thought that the interactions yielded not aggression in the literal sense, but I'm saying in the next move sense. But I think I'm so quiet on this because I think like being on both sides of it, right? Like being young, dumb, I'm in the club, and then being in the club where I'm at now with my friends that are single doing whatever they do. I just think men and women jump in and out of like their right per se. Like I like there's a lot of times where situations are exactly what we perceive them to be. And then we find a way, or we as in men or women find a way to like squeeze our way out of it because of said thing, or like, and then it becomes a, oh no, you was just buying drinks. Oh, like when Asia was like, a dude offered a drink and she's like, no, I'm good. Damn, I'm just buying you a drink. Like in reality, like I was approaching you to talk to you more than just buying you a drink. But because I got shut down, I'm gonna go, damn, like I can't get it. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't like I don't think a drink means you should talk to somebody, but I'm not gonna lie. Something about me offering a drink and you accepted it, it is like, all right, peace. Like, damn, like the fuck?
Like, what it is, Keenan.
Yeah, like that don't sit.
You feel like you got finesse.
It ain't even that, it ain't even that, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with a person to say, hey, I'm good, I'm not interested. Like. But
what if you're thirsty? I'm not interested, but I'm still thirsty. So thank you.
But Brittany,
I'm saying this.
You get your own drink.
Two waters.
But
you offered it to me.
This is what I'm saying though. We know in the culture, me approaching you to buy a drink is telling you I'm interested. But instead of acknowledging that a man approaching a woman offering to buy a drink is some men's way of initiating interest, we try to make it something that it's not. Like, we know that's what that means. So, and if you were to accept that drink, in reality, with all this social media BS, I'm saying when you really get out there and this stuff is happening, if a guy approaches you to buy you a drink, 9 times out of 10, he's initiating his interest. Therefore, the accepting of it or not is, in a sense, telling that guy whether you prefer to have a conversation or not. No?
Yeah.
I don't think a drink initiates a conversation. I don't think it should. I don't think it should.
The drink shows
it always initiates the thank you.
It should initiate a thank you or something.
Well, thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, but I don't think it should initiate a conversation. How many times have y'all gone to a I mean, maybe because I'm a non-drinker, right? So every time somebody asked, can I buy you a drink? My answer was always no. And based on how that man reacted to my no, like that would let me know, like, okay, we not even gonna vibe because you don't know why I told you no. I'm saying no because I don't drink alcohol. But I will hold a conversation with you. What's up? So like, I feel like a drink should never be the initiation of a conversation because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what this person is, who you're approaching or whatever. That doesn't mean that I can't take this drink and walk away. That doesn't mean I can decline the drink and still walk away, or decline the drink and still hold this conversation with you. But men, like, they just automatically have this, it's almost like a fear of rejection type thing. Like, damn, you didn't give me a chance to reject you if I was, because you got this defense mechanism, like to Asia's point, like, well, damn, I can't buy you a drink. Like, no, because I don't. Are you buying me water? Because I don't drink alcohol.
Okay,
I don't know.
That's free game. That's free game too.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, I got a statement.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Louis. Go ahead, Louis.
I'm not gonna say anything. Have y'all ever bought a man a drink before?
Oh, man, come on, bro. You trying to get the face set on fire?
No, I'm asking a question.
No.
Why not? Why not?
I don't feel the need to.
Yeah.
Why?
Plain simple.
Not a man that I'm interested in. If I'm with a group of people, yes, I have bought a man a drink, but not for that reason, like somebody that I'm interested in.
So why does that draw the line?
Right. Why is that not?
Because I don't want to. I don't want to. He does it because he wants to. I don't have to. I don't need a drink. I don't need to buy him a drink to have I can have a conversation. I can just present my personality, whatever the case may be. And because he's attracted to it, if he is, he will go for it. And that's if I'm the type that approaches men. Because I'm speaking, Jen, as a woman, because if I'm not the type that approaches men, why would I buy him a drink if I'm not the one that wants to initiate anything? It would then have to be on the woman. If that's what she does, and that's her, like, you know what? Because most women don't do this. Shout out to her. But no, I don't feel the need to. Men feel the need to buy drinks.
Asia, what if he?
So what if y'all both at the bar? He like, you not thirsty?
I mean, if I'm
thirsty, you're not going.
What do you mean?
Going to initiate that?
What do you mean?
What?
Initiate for me to buy him a drink?
Yeah.
That's a good question, Jay. I like that one.
I'm
He like,
so
whoa, it's
confused
hot in
by
here. Y'all not thirsty? Like,
Yeah, he trying to.
I mean, even if I said yes, then what I got to do with me buying him a drink?
he might want
I'm
to.
gonna
He
say
might
cool.
be thirsty.
Double shot of Hennessy. Double shot of Hennessy, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying, Agent, and I mean it makes sense. But to some people, like I feel like that's an option for anybody, whether it's male or female. You have to want to buy somebody a drink. I get 100%, but I don't think men are just sitting at the crib like, yo, tonight we ain't spending no bread tonight. They about to buy some drinks. Like
All right, so
that's just not how we, how we doing it.
Jay, so there's a long line of comments, bro. My bad, brother. I just want to make sure I read all these.
Please get into them.
Some of these,
Please get into them.
He said, so you're wasting the man's time and yours, sweet. So I don't really remember the timestamp, so I'm just going to read them. You're wasting the man's time and yours, sweetheart. Who cares about reading the situation when her mindset is to take a drink regardless of what she wants from you? Wasting that man's time is childish. Women will abuse men and feel no way about it. Laugh my ass off is wild to think about sometimes.
Yep.
Get a water, get your own drink.
That's right.
But the thing about it is, I will.
Hey, Lewis commented that, by the way.
I will buy my own drink. I never go to a club and just be like, oh my God, I'm just going to be thirsty the entire time because I can't afford to buy my own drink.
Right.
I didn't ask you.
I agree, Princess, but I do think I'm gonna finish reading these, but I'm gonna respond to that. So he said, women not done, bro. She knows what's up. Why are you accepting drinks from strangers? Zero reciprocation.
Is this?
I feel like Lewis. I feel like Lewis cut the camera off and was over there.
He did.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I ain't lying. I swear. Real talk. So
I'm not the only one.
This is the thing, Princess. That. So.
It's no more comments.
Nah, that's the last one.
Bro, one more comment, please.
Nah, I'm not. So all right. So this is why I feel like the culture messes up. Princess, I respect that. You will buy your own drink, you will do your own thing. You don't need none of that. Absolute respect. Not Prince, like Princess on like speaking to what you said, but not speaking to you. Like, but I also think there's a notion of, again, to the point earlier made in the chat about maturity. I think buying a woman a drink under a certain fashion with a certain type of energy is a good approach. And I also think that it gets downplayed because of the semantics of social media. So like, yeah, you can be doing your thing, but like, I do think there's a level that feels good for a woman to know that a man is in pursuit, which is why he came and wanted to buy that drink. You know what I mean? So like, I get that you all can do it. That goes back to the conversation 2 weeks ago. Like, there's certain things that we know that women can do, but that's why we're here creating this line of things that you may not have to do moving forward if this conversation goes right. So it's always that thing of initiating in the way of the culture. To me, I'm sorry. In a club, if we chilling, to me, a guy walking up to you in a certain way, asking, do you want to drink, or having a conversation, then asking if you want to drink, it's sparking, letting you know he's interested. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Asia's point earlier, she's saying like, no, she won't buy a guy a drink. So Asia, I would ask you, what if he bought the first 3 and you're really enjoying this? Is he gonna have to just keep running his tab up, or you'll eventually say like, oh, I'll get the next one? You're enjoying his time now. You enjoying this, like the drinks is flowing. You loving his conversation, his energy. Is it still the same type of thing when about Lewis's question about buying a drink? Or is it like, I'm still not doing it because you're interested, as you all said earlier?
So this is gonna be an interesting answer, but it depends, right? So if there's a tab open, and I'm just keeping it a buck. If it's a tab open, because I haven't experienced it where if the dude is like, oh, just another round, just another. I mean, I have experienced it where he's just like, just add it to the tab, where I don't even get that option. However, if it is something that's like, you know what, yes, I'm enjoying this, whatever the case may be, I would do it. But that's me.
Okay.
But I can't generally speak though for all women. But like the type, like for me, I do it. I'm like, what you drinking?
Okay.
Yeah, be considerate.
But at that point, but it's not. See, even with that, I don't think. But even with that, I just keep going back to, if you as a man you're not comfortable, right, with spending a certain amount of money or whatever the case may be, then don't lead with it, or don't have an open tab either.
Yeah.
Just close the tab, buy a drink if that's what you feel comfortable with. It's kind of like the way that I view gambling, right? It's like, how much are you willing to lose right now? If you're willing to lose $20 on one drink, cool. If you're willing to lose $100 on multiple drinks, cool. Whatever's not going to hurt your pride or your ego if this gets shut down, because it's a gamble at the end of the day. So for me, don't spend money that you're not willing to spend. Spend what you're willing to spend.
But Asia, go on the other side of gambling. In Vegas, you also know the more money you spend, the closer you get to the jackpot.
But that's on the dude, because it's never guaranteed. It is never guaranteed in gambling, ever.
It's not. But again, to the point you said, I will be willing to lose this money, right? But I'm also sending a message that I'm trying to win something.
True. Right. No, and I'm not arguing that point, because I even think to like the conversation, like if Shorty's talking to him for an hour and the conversation's going good, then yes, I can definitely see how old boy thought, like, dang, I was gonna get something, her number or something. So to get nothing, I get that. I'm not arguing that. But what I'm saying is, as a man, if the conversation is like, dang, like that was inconsiderate, then it's like, then you should have closed your wallet. Don't let it get to the point that now you're upset with her for money that you spent.
Oh,
then tell me what you're willing to lose. And so for you, if it's one drink, then after that one drink, you close the tab. And then see where it goes from there. If you're willing to spend if you're willing to buy 5 drinks, then buy the 5 drinks. But close your wallet when you're ready to close your wallet. Like, don't let her take advantage of you, because I think that's also immature. To then be like, okay, I'm gonna keep throwing money and hoping and wishing and praying that she says yes.
Yes.
And Marcus Sale said, I think this is Lewis. Marcus Sale said, that's right. He said, that's all I'm saying, bro. Be considerate. Laugh my ass off. He said, talking to women is gambling. You know what I'm saying? So this is, I'm gonna ask this, and this is not anybody's Earth 99. If a man offers you a drink, whether you drink liquor, whatever the case may be, do you realistically, not in when you take to like, I'm getting like, let's get some free drink nights, not those nights. When you out and a man approaches you, I'm going to say in a correct way, a mature way, and he offers a drink, do you accept drinks from only men you like? From very like, not on the nights where it's like the girls' night, group nights, and y'all, you know what I'm saying, doing y'all, I'm saying like in a different sense where it may not be a club situation. It may be something where you're approaching a different setting. You may be somewhere and he approaches and offers that. Are you really taking that drink if you really want to see a little more? I can't say what a little more looks like. Does that question make sense?
Yeah. So,
yeah, as in the question makes sense.
Because you're asking, like, if I'm somewhere, it's not a wild night or whatever the case may be, but I'm somewhere, wherever it could be.
Because clubbing got rules. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So if somebody's offering that I do want to have the conversation with, or I do want a little more, whatever, would I take the drink? That's the question.
Outside of club rules, yeah. So like, meaning, yeah. Like, does you accept interest?
Yeah, I would accept it. Yeah.
Does that mean interest? Outside of club,
in what you have to say.
Say that again.
Like, I'm interested in holding a conversation. If I'm like, I guess my setting is like a business mixer, like a networking event or something like that, right?
Yeah. Something that takes it out of the club scene. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're saying if a dude approaches you and he's like, "Yo, can I buy you a drink?" Your question is, am I looking for like a next step? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, but let me clarify something real quick. So you remember when earlier Asia was saying that, you know, there's some nights where women are just having fun. It's like, girl, we getting free drinks tonight, Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, now let's eliminate all the fun nights BS for a second, right? Mm-hmm. If we're in whatever setting, mixer, networking, anything that's not like where the pressure of club rules apply, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. If a guy approaches you a certain way and he offers a drink or offers something to that extent, is accepting that in a different environment without all the other stuff, really showing initial interest from you when you accept it?
Yeah, I think that it can. I don't think it always. I don't think it's always like that. But I think it can. I definitely think that it can be. But to Britt's point, though, I think that it means I'm interested in having a further conversation.
Agreed.
Because you could bomb the conversation, then it's like, nah, it's done. But I do think that there's definitely that's definitely a thing. Taking the drink means interest.
When the last time y'all accepted a drink that you knew you weren't going to talk to this person ever again?
I haven't been drinking for a while.
I can't remember right now.
What about a date?
Huh?
What about a date where you use the guy for food that you just,
Oh, I don't do that.
Why not?
Because I don't feel like going out for a free meal if I'm not really feeling you to start. Like some women will know off gate, like I'm not attracted to him. Nothing about him is interesting to me, but the guy may be on her really, really heavy. And she'd be like, all right, I'll just go ahead and go on a date with him. It's a free meal, like it's dinner tonight. I don't operate like that. I don't enjoy conversations with people who I'm not interested in that much to want to go to dinner with you just for a free meal. Like, no, we definitely have to vibe.
Respect.
Even if you're real hungry.
I feed myself every day. I don't no.
So I will say this before we transition to the next thing. I will say this. Dinner and drinks is way different than club and drinks. I will say that.
Yes.
That's
I definitely agree.
Yeah. So the last thing we had this week that I think is a little off, but I think is worth an interesting conversation because most of the time one leads to the other. So do I need to read it? I probably do. So dating a woman that can't control her mouth when she's angry is the same as dating a man that can't control his hands while angry. It's just a different form of abuse.
No,
that was a lot.
I'm not gonna start on this one.
Wait, a woman. Hold on.
You want me to read it?
A woman that's calling her dude names.
A woman
is the same, right? I know. It's the same as a dude popping his shorty in the mouth.
Per the post.
Is that what we're saying? Okay. So she called him dumb and stupid and a loser and a bum. And then he slaps her across the face. We're saying the question is, are those two the same?
So
that's a wild question to me.
Yes, it's very wild.
So I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna say this. These thoughts and opinions from Millennials was real. Ain't got nothing to do with us up here, but we about to go somewhere that I know we shouldn't be going. Asia, it's not the same, right? But how would you agree that 90% of women that deal with their man or a man learn/knows the buttons?
Oh yeah, that's yes.
So you get to go parasailing, you get to jump out the ship, no parachute all the time. Like I guess it's not the same to me, but where does the accountability shift from the chicken or the egg? Like which one started? Well, I never believe in putting your hands on a woman ever. That's just me personally. But we all know that people are human and can get provoked past the point of their own control, especially with somebody they love and care about that has a crazy mouth. So I guess it's not the same, but when does that accountability shift? If it does, it may not.
I feel like it's very black and white. I don't think a woman should be talking crazy to her dude. And I definitely don't think a man should be putting his hands on a woman. Like in my mind, it's literally like, it's like what is acceptable and what is not.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one should be, but I don't think we can even make that comparison in the long shot. Like I think the question is it's wild, but I think we're saying if the question is, should a man be talking crazy to her dude? Should a woman have a crazy mouth? No. Should a dude putting his hands on a woman? No. Like it's very black and white to me. I don't think there needs like
on both ends of the stick too.
That's
so
what
like
I'm saying.
I don't think a man should be talking crazy to his girl.
Right.
I don't think a woman should be putting her hands on. Nobody should be putting their hands on nobody. Period.
Right.
Like physical abuse is just an absolute no. Because I hate when women was like, well, you see a woman smack a man, and it's like, yo, you got punched dead in your. You shouldn't have touched him. You provoked that man, right? Like I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm saying nobody should have touched anybody from the beginning. Right. Like keep your hands to yourself. Mommy taught us that from yay high. But the other part of that too is the verbal abuse. Like it's never okay, Keenan. So to your point, like when does accountability? You know how far to push your partner, right? Some crazies out there back in my day were deserving of some very thoughtful words, I should say. But I just feel like I knew what I was doing when I said those words, right? And I knew in Keenan, we can't control ourselves sometimes. But I feel like if you are ever in that toxic of a situation where you're consistently breaking character, where verbal abuse is consistently happening to the point where you're even thinking about physically attacking somebody, you need to just learn how to walk away. That's when the accountability comes in. That's when you need to recognize, like, this is not a good situation for me or you. And one of us got to go, because we're going to end up killing each other, hurting each other, tearing each other down. Like, it's not feeding our soul, spirit in any type of way. So verbal abuse, physical abuse, it don't matter which one. Neither one is okay in any situation. Any situation.
So we have a comment.
From who?
You see how she tried to belittle the idea of putting a man down. Like that doesn't hold weight in today's society.
No one said that. Whoever said that
comment,
comment,
who said that?
Wasn't paying attention.
I just
calling him.
Mm-hmm. Yo, I'm done reading comments. So
no, that was
you.
Did he say who was belittling?
I would say did he add?
No, it just said I can argue that it is the same. To be honest, the mental abuse and physical abuse are both abuse. Then the comment I just read to you all, and the calling him names like no ma'am, we know isn't just name calling.
But I don't think that we were arguing whether it's abuse or not. We understand both of them are abuse. We were arguing more so is it the exact same type of thing.
I think this, and this might be my personal opinion, this may just be the way I think. So I don't think any guy is a complete man until he controls controls the three aspects of his life: financially, mentally, and emotionally. If you can't control those three things, to me, I ain't gonna say your manhood is in question, but I'm saying, like, I think that's what kind of rounds out or completes a man to be able to be, whatever he needs to be. However, I think I'm learning at my age and people around my age and people older than me, I just don't think that we understand the power of words is why these being compared is happening. You know what I mean? I think the meter on the power of words is starting to rise so much, and that we are in a space where we think that it's like the mental health thing, right? It's like, who's to argue breaking an arm is the same as having a panic attack? Like, we're getting in this space where we're trying to, I don't want to say overvaluing mental health, but words mean so much right now that we put it in the same realm of something that's like, whoa, that's not even the same thing. But in reality, all we're hearing is mental health and words mean things, self-talk, self-hate, da-da-da. So, like, who's to say that somebody can't hold that to the same standard as hitting somebody? If they're sitting around being emotionally or verbally abused, if they can't handle that, that may be just as worse to them as somebody hitting them.
Mm-hmm. I think the physical, right? Like for me,
which I don't agree with the physical. I'm just saying.
No, physical abuse. The reason why I say that there's a distinction, right, is because, or one is weighs higher than the other. Physical has the mental component, or the verbal component. Like if somebody says something, calls me names or says something verbally to me, right, that hurts my whatever, and then mentally it draws me back. If you physically hit me, now I have to wear it, right, because it's physical damage, and mentally I'm affected by it. So it's kind of it's engulfing like both of those things. And that's where the weight, I feel, is a little bit different when you talk about like the value of words versus the value of being physical about something. Like, yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time, like physical includes the words and everything else. That it's almost it embraces everything. Like your everything is shattered when you're hit, because when you look in that mirror, you can't tell me that those verbally he didn't say nothing or she didn't say anything to you. But when you get in the mirror, you're looking at yourself like, God, like, damn, this is what I look like. Is this what I deserve? Then your mental starts playing on whatever, and the verbal start coming back to you, whatever it was that they were saying at that moment. Versus verbally, you attack me, but people walk around depressed every single day. You would not know, because physically you cannot see depression, but that doesn't mean that that's not what they're feeling. And I feel like that's the distinction between having something physical and having something verbally like abuse coming at you. I don't know.
How do y'all, and I'm not gonna keep y'all here all night. So how mentally tough do you feel like our generation is?
Weak.
I'm gonna have to disagree.
On which part?
About the weakness. I feel like they're exposed to so much more than what we were exposed to.
And I'm talking about us though, Louis, not them. I'm saying our generation.
I feel like we're tough. I feel like we're tough, and I feel like we are not willing to accept what others before us are willing to accept. And I think in calling out some of those things, people may define that as weakness. I think that we also are a bit more responsible with our feelings, and more maybe in tune with them, and a bit more responsible with them. But I wouldn't say we're weaker. I just feel like we call those things out a little bit more. But I do feel like, to a degree, when you call them out to a point of where you now feel entitled to where you're not supposed to get your feelings hurt. It's life. Your feelings are supposed to be hurt. You're supposed to get offended by things at times. Everything, the world doesn't cater to you specifically. You have to learn how to live with things that make you uncomfortable. That part I don't agree with, because people think that, you're not supposed to be able to turn on TV and not hear something that you don't like. That part I do feel like is, when it turns to entitlement, I do feel like that's an issue, but I wouldn't say that they're weaker.
Anybody else like to take on where we at as a culture, millennials, and our mental and emotional toughness / you know what I mean?
Are blurring the lines between sensitivity and vulnerability. It is what it is. And I just feel like that's just very present in millennial. Gen Z has it 10 times worse because of the impact of society. But for millennials in general, I just feel like our vulnerability kind of intertwines with our sensitivity, and we legit kind of walk on eggshells sometimes about what we can and cannot say, or can and cannot do, or what we receive and how we react to certain things.
I agree. I
agree with that 100%.
I definitely agree.
I think, I think subtle dynamics of how we were raised versus, I think we gained a lot in raising our kids, but lost a lot from a family dynamic. Meaning, for me personally, and this is no shot at anybody, for me personally, my grandparents were like staples, and when we were coming up, they were like super there to give us the game on the older things, or just show us things the old school way. Now I feel like a lot of grandparents are still sticking and moving, like they're still in there. It's not as much of the
different
hierarchy as it once was when we came up. You know what I mean? So in that same result, a lot more wear and tear comes off on us. Meaning, during the summer, we went to my grandparents' house 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
About it.
Yep.
Like this, and we there, and we don't think about it then, but now, like, your parents was getting a mental break. You know what I'm saying? Like they were able to like release. A lot of us now sticking and moving. Well, let me speak for myself. I'm a parent 25/8. Like it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, and granted, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? But I was having a conversation with somebody, and this is gonna sound bad, but I'm being so truthful, I'm being so honest right now. They were talking about having kids, and they were like, yeah, I don't see how people hurt their kids. And I was like, I would never do it, but I see how people do it. Like, that shit can wear on you if you were like,
it takes a toll. No, it takes a toll on you.
Like, and then like you put in sleep deprivation and fucking like work and all this. Like, I see where people lose it real quick and do something they didn't mean to do. And like, oh damn, like, but in reality, when our parents had us, our grandma probably came down for 5 months to nurse that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I just think the factors and issues that we're dealing with, we weren't equipped with all those tools. You know what I mean? Like, how many of us, even on this call right here, can really say, if stuff hit the fan, you got somewhere to go tomorrow? Like, hit the fan. So that calls, okay, respect, absolute respect. And for me, that caused me to go to a mental place where, like, that stress level of feeling like every decision has to be it, because I don't have that. I don't think a lot of, in my family, if people, they going to grandma's house. If my uncles, moms, something, they going back to their mother, but my grandma's house. It's not like that for me. So that instantly creates a daily, weekly, monthly stress, because every decision matters in that case. And I think we eliminate that part of it because, it's a lot that we don't know that we don't know. So that's just my thought. I don't. Weak is a bit of a. And Marcus Hell said something that he said, people be quitting, can't take honesty, easily triggered. We hurt out here for real, which I agree with. I just think what we're dealing with, we weren't equipped for. So it's hard to be good in it. We weren't equipped. I don't think we were equipped for this, me personally.
And we're constantly living in a world of comparison as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think that weighs so heavily on the mental, especially with social media and everything that we see and the lives that people portray or put on social media. Seems to be one thing, but it's really not that. And just comparison really kills.
It's the thievery of joy. Comparison is a thievery of joy.
I don't think we can't do it at this point, bro. Unless we close out all apps, I don't think we can't do it.
What, comparison?
I agree. I agree, but I also think we like, for our generation, especially as millennials, we grew up where everything was shifting. So like even thinking like influencing was not a thing 10 years ago. It wasn't a thing. So matter of fact, certain words that people are sensitive about now, and it's like, no, we cannot say those. I'm like, dang, I grew up saying those words. Like, those were slurs, half of them. And like, so I feel like for our generation, we had to adapt so heavily than different generations, because like our parents' generation, it just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, and that's why I think every generation after is so sensitive. I think the younger generation, they grew up with influencing and like all these different things, stuff that we literally had to, we were there with the shift. So we know both ends of it. And so sometimes it's like, well, dang, okay, well, yesterday I was able to say this, today I can't say that. Well, I wasn't even thinking about this today, but now this is trending. Like, think about things going viral. That's still a fairly recent concept when you really put it into perspective. We didn't grow up with that type of stuff. We had to adapt with it.
And that's what makes it so hard. I'll speak for myself and say, like, it's hard raising the next generation and the generation after that to come, right? Like with our kids and things, because nowadays my daughter, she'll come and she'll tell me, Mommy, they had a joke fight in the cafeteria. They're both suspended. I'm like, what? Like, we looked forward to joke fights in the cafeteria. Like, what do you mean?
A joke fight?
They said, yo, Mama, yes, they're getting in trouble for stuff like this. So it's kind of like, how do you redirect behavior? How do you provide the structure that you were taught, right, and instilled in your home? But then when the child gets out there in the real world, or even the people that we work with, Asia, I'm looking at you because I know what you do for a living. Like, how do you instill certain qualities in our up and coming generation when it's such a sensitive, and I use that word because it truly is a sensitive society where they smack down almost everything. It's really hard. In Asia, you brought up a great point. We are literally trying to adapt to the shift and change, but we can't put too much, and we can't live too much in the past either, because neither one of them are right. So it's kind of like, well, where do millennials really fit in? Like, where do we fit in? I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's why we can't really build real. If we didn't, and what I'm realizing, a lot of us that have long relationships or whatever the case may be, we got in a lot of these before the rise of all the things that y'all are talking about. Like, we didn't get in those things when all this stuff was on the rise, like the comparison thing, right? Shit, I remember just getting my G1, getting the A&T, and I didn't even have an IG yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing for me to. The only thing that I could do, the comparison was on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I was at the club that week. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a. It wasn't, but
all week.
That boy, that boy was in that bond.
Right.
That boy was in there.
Hey, that's when he used to be 18 and up. That's when they used to put the X on your hand. I couldn't buy drinks. Boy.
Oh man,
I remember that.
What? I remember them days. What?
But the point I'm making is, in that regard, like, you may compare for that night because you had fun or whatever the case may be, but it wasn't a, like, the next morning you wasn't waking up swiping through trying to figure. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And I
That's
really
so true.
And I really do feel like, bro, that's why relationships in our generation are suffering, because, like, if you don't have the thing, because this is the thing about the standard thing too, I'm gonna tie it back to. People's standards ain't really what they act like they are. They really want something that the internet ain't saying, but when they post that, if they go with this person and post it, you know it's going to get compared, judged. You're gonna get DM. Who is that? Who is he? What he do? In reality, like, you actually good, low key. You know what I'm saying? So it's the comparison thing was so true, and like, it's like Asia, like, we got the old head millennials and we got the Generation Z-ish millennials, and we don't know where, because you have to think about it, most of us have seen it all. I'm glad when we came up, but we're slap dab in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't ever pay to be first, and we the first real social media generation, but it don't really pay to be first in anything. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's why relationships are suffering, man. I do, me personally, because I don't see a lot of people my age that have a real good. Let me ask this question before I say this. Do y'all believe women can lead with logic? Before I say this,
that women can lead with logic?
Yes. Ever?
Ever? Sure. Because ever's a like, sure.
All right, so give me out of 10 times, how many times you think they can lead with logic?
Wow. Maybe 2.
So you're saying compared to emotion, right? We're
yes, compared to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So with that same thing, think about the comparison end of things when you can't lead with logic, and a lot of women lead with emotion, and you're comparing these things based off of feeling. There'll never be a concrete thing you could really stand on. And I've seen this in real time. I've seen somebody complain that there ain't nothing out here, get exactly what they want, and be like, nah, I can't do this. Because it ain't click worthy. It ain't double tap worthy. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Any last thoughts on because I don't want to keep, I'll be here all night on that. So any more thoughts on our generation with the weakness?
No.
All right, man. So I think that's what we're
gonna
leave
that topic for the next episode or something.
Everybody buy drinks for everybody.
No, no.
Hey,
if
Louis,
y'all didn't learn
don't
nothing this
matter.
episode from Louis B himself, be considerate, women.
And stay at home.
And stay at home.
Stay at home.
Yeah, stay